First off, my name is Lauren Mulbrough. I am the founder of HealthEquine Therapies. I've been doing my business for about 7 going on 8 years now, and we offer a range of various equine therapy services from massage to equitape application. I'm just completing up my craniosacral therapy. I do Reiki, as other modalities as well. So free to check out my website and let me know if you find anything on there that might be interesting to you, or if you have any questions of any sort. Why we're talking about Omega Alpha today is because I actually work full-time for Omega Alpha, and I always get a lot of questions about the products that we offer. So I thought it would be an opportunity, as we're all sitting at home, getting quite bored, that I would do my first ever Facebook Live feed to kind of go over the information or questions that you might have here live. So with that, why don't we get started? I'm going to tell you a little bit about the company first, so it kind of gives you an idea of what we're all about. So Omega Alpha Pharmaceuticals is 100% Canadian owned and incorporated right here in Ontario. So we do have a manufacturing plant in Toronto. We opened our doors immediately after receiving our GMP license, which is the Good Manufacturing Practice license, in 1992, and the goal was to provide consumers with scientifically formulated natural health products using pharmaceutical standards. We also have been site licensed by the NHPD, which is a division of Health Canada for manufacturing nutraceuticals. All our formulations are free of fillers and excipients, and we have qualified, knowledgeable staff, not only in our quality control laboratory, but in all of our departments, if you should have any questions or concerns about the products that we offer. So when I say that we have different departments, is because Omega Alpha has various sectors, different departments in the sense that we have our equine products, we have our pet line of products, we have our human line of products, but we also have professional lines of products as well. We have a human professional line, which you might see from a naturopathic doctor, and then we have a small animal veterinarian line as well. The company also does private labeling. So we touch everything we can. We're in different areas and have a great number of staff with a whole bunch of knowledge ready and waiting to answer any of your questions you might have. Now, Dr. Gordon Chang, he is our CEO. He's actually got his PhD, which he received from the University of Toronto, Department of Physiology and Institute of Biomedical Engineering in 1989. This is where he received a research and fellowship award as well. The manufacturing company of Omega Alpha has earned awards, accolades, and the enduring respect of his peers for product innovation and efficacious herbal-based and nutritional supplements for the natural health industry. So the company itself has been around for over 20 years. And actually, it started with the human line, which then progressed into the equine line, and then the pet line, and everything kind of followed suit after that. So a lot of great formulations, a lot of great that's coming from Omega Alpha right to your barn, right to your cupboards, and for your pets and yourself. So just some information and background on that. I've got a few people popping online, so hello everybody. Again, bear with me today because it's my first Facebook Live, but hopefully you'll see a few more of these as the weeks and months go on. So why don't we get started with a couple of questions that I received by email. One of them was a great question. It was, what's the difference between Biotic 8 and Biotic 8 Plus? So if you've gone to your local tack store or feed store, you might have noticed a new label on the Biotic 8, and it looks something like this. Let's see if I can go a little closer for you. So it's the Biotic 8 Plus. We do get quite a few emails, calls, wondering what the plus is all about. And basically, in simplest forms possible, the biggest difference is the fact we've changed the form of yeast. And that form of yeast has now boosted up the colony forming units of a probiotic. So a colony forming unit, or what you might see on a label as CFU, is a unit of measurement to estimate the number of viable bacteria in a product. So instead of calling it something like Biotic 8-9, which could really confuse people, we've just added the plus word to it to make sure that you understand that there's more to the Biotic 8 now. So that's the biggest difference. So you're getting a lot more probiotic content in the Biotic 8 Plus. Now let me talk about the Biotic 8 Plus for a moment, because there are some wonderful ingredients that really work well with one another. Omega Alpha is a scientific-driven company, so we put ingredients together for a specific reason, and we call it a synergistic effect. So when you put certain herbal ingredients or medicinal ingredients together, you get a better result and a better benefit from having these interactions of these ingredients. So in this circumstance, the Biotic 8 itself is in a powder or dehydrated form. And this product allows for the carrying of the herbs of, like, say, the probiotics, prebiotics, digestive enzymes, as well as those supporting herbs. And we've done a study with our human probiotics in which we kind of came up with a way to determine if a fibrous formula like our Biotic 8 has an increased survival rate of those sensitive microbes to the hindgut or through the acidic environment of the stomach. And it was determined that a fiber formula has an increase of 82% chance to get through the acidic environment of the stomach. So it is more essential to have that fibrous formula, and that's why we have it in that dehydrated form. We've also got some key ingredients in there, things like flaxseed, marshmallow root, slippery elm. When these ingredients come into contact with a liquid environment, say the stomach acid, they become very thick and very mucilaginous, and this encapsulates those sensitive microbes of the probiotics, prebiotics, and digestive enzymes, and allows for the survival rate and transfer of the key ingredients to the hindgut where they're most needed. And as they go through the intestinal tract, this is where that covering or protective layer starts breaking down, and allowing the microbes to do what they do very well and support that hindgut. So I mentioned that we have a prebiotic in here. We have inulin, or known as FOS, fructooligosaccharides, if you want to say that 3 times fast. And this ensures that the probiotics have something to consume so that they can have the energy to do their job. So that's what the prebiotic really does have a benefit in this product. Then we have digestive enzymes, things like amylase, protease, all those sort of aspects. And these little guys help to hydrolyze and catalyze different ingredients so that they can be more effective in the gastrointestinal tract and bring more nutrient absorption to the horse as well. So a well-rounded product. Again, it's a fiber formula which keeps everything dormant as well, so they don't become very active until they reach the stomach acid and can do a more effective job in that hindgut. So Biotic 8 Plus can be used on any horse of any age, of any discipline, and it's going to be beneficial. It should be a foundation for any horse to support their gastrointestinal system. So that's the Biotic 8 there. Another question we had was, what are the differences between all of your joint formulas? So we basically have 3 primary joint formulas, and they kind of work in a sense that you have a step 1, step 2, step 3 kind of aspect. So the first one we always like to start with is the Sinew-X. So the Sinew-X has a form of glucosamine, it has MSM, and then it has a number of anti-inflammatory herbs. The key part of this formula is those anti-inflammatory herbs. If there's any swelling or inflammation that's going on, this is actually what causes pain in a horse. So if we can decrease the pain threshold, bring down that inflammation, giving a little bit more comfort to the horse, then the glucosamine and the MSM can go in to do a more effective job. Now, with that said, again, being a scientifically driven company, we particularly chose a various molecular structure of our glucosamine. Now, there's various forms of glucosamine out there. You've got two main ones, glucosamine sulfate and glucosamine hydrochloride. Now, these two are very much on par with one another. However, a lot of documentation and articles and scientific journals state that glucosamine sulfate has that little bit of an edge on top of glucosamine hydrochloride. So it does have a little bit more of effectiveness or efficaciousness to the Sinuex there. You also notice that on our labels, we have various letters in front of certain ingredients. So in this case, with the glucosamine sulfate, we have it has the D-glucosamine sulfate. Now, going back to the science again, so for anyone that's done their chemistry, there's two different forms of glucosamine sulfate. There's the D form, and then there's the L form. The D form is what actually gets into the body and does a more effective job. So it's metabolized easier and it's absorbed easier, where the L form kind of gets into the body but doesn't really do much, and then of course it leaves the body naturally. So the D form of glucosamine sulfate is essential for this product because we want to make sure you're getting the best form and the best ingredients. Of course, it's complemented with MSM because MSM and glucosamine work really well hand in hand with one another to support things like cartilage repair and synovial fluid. And of course, being a sulfate kind of background, it does have a lot of emphasis on the biochemical reactions within the body, being it a sulfur. So that's the Sinuex that we have there. The next one up would be the Sinuex with HA. Or you can sometimes often see our old label, which says the Sinuex Plus. These are very similar in the sense that they do have the anti-inflammatory herbs we talked about. It does have the D form of glucosamine sulfate, but the Sinuex plus HA does not have MSM. Instead, we've put the hyaluronic acid in there. Hyaluronic acid is actually a natural occurring sugar within the body, which helps to create synovial fluid, which makes a little bit of a cushion between or in a joint so that the bone on bone has some cushion and doesn't cause friction and inflammation and thus can turn to arthritis or anything like that. So we've chosen a different form than most other products on the market. We've got our hyaluronic acid, and it's quite pure. Its molecular structure is that of a short chain, which means it's absorbed better and more readily utilized within the body. So you're going to see it work a lot more effectively. So that is the Sinuex plus HA. Then we have the GLS powder. Now this one's really great to have on a senior horse, a post-surgical horse, or a horse that just needs a little bit more than what the other products are offering. Hi, Christy. The GLS powder has a really high dose of that D-glucosamine sulfate and a really high dose of the MSM versus what the Sinuex did. The GLS seems to be pretty popular at the moment, especially throughout the winter because it is a powder where all of our other formulations are that of a liquid. So it does have some great values, but we mainly made it for the geriatric or post-surgical horse that needs a little bit more assistance. And then the other ingredients are there for bone density. So you can see how that would complement a senior horse. Now the Sinuex we first began with, that's your basic, your maintenance formula or preventative formula. So that's the one you would typically start with unless you know there's something specific you want to target. The Sinuex plus HA was mainly made for any kind of MSM sensitive horses because again it doesn't have the MSM in there, and it's also really great for those high competition horses that are going to need a little bit more support with their joints and muscle tissue. So those are the three we have there. We have two other formulas that really complement any of our joint formulations. We have just a single bottle of a pure hyaluronic acid or the HA 180. And this again can be complemented with, say, the GLS powder or the Sinew-X on its own. We also have one that's really popular. It's our anti-flam, or it's our anti-inflammatory, and this works systemically throughout the body. So it doesn't necessarily target joints. It might help with any kind of muscle inflammation, tendon, ligaments, any of those kind of soft tissue issues. It works by just bringing down inflammation, giving the horse more comfort, and less pain could be associated with that. So again, that can be complementary to our Sinew-X or Sinew-X plus HA, or even our GLS powder. It really kind of just all depends on how acute or chronic the health situation may be. But you can always feel free to ask me any questions, and we'll find one that works best for your horse. Now, something not everybody knows is all of omega alpha products are 100% guaranteed. So if it doesn't work on your horse, you don't see the benefits, whether you've emptied the bottle or not, it's 100% guaranteed. You can take it back to the dealer, or say the tack store or feed store where you purchased it from, and they will give you your money back. No questions asked. They are told this by our company so that we can make you guys happy, and hopefully still have you come back and use our products. So there is a peace of mind when it comes to omega alpha products as well.